So the day has come and the decision has been made to cut the roof off the Lotus. After a lot of consideration, I've decided that's the best route to go, and that's what we're going to do today, make a drop top Lotus Elite. So stay tuned. For those of you who have not yet seen the car, this is how she arrived, and after a little bit of work and cleaning, this is now how she sits. But I'm after something a bit more exotic. So I'm going to chop the roof off and hopefully end up with something which looks a bit more like this. So I'm going to get chopping now, which sounds a bit cheeky, and then I'm going to pick up the camera again once I have made some very careful incisions. Well, here she is, the drop top. There she is, the drop top. Notice that wheel is facing inwards and so is that one, which is fun. I think it's starting to look cool. Obviously the back's all wrong at the moment, but the front's starting to look cool. The next thing to do will be obviously finish up this area, because I cut it quite high deliberately to give us space to work with, and also do final cuts on here and make everything look right. But the windscreen can wait for a while. It's more getting this area right and figuring out the back end and all that stuff, but we'll see. It's exciting. I gave everything I started to clean everything, so the interior is a lot more stripped out, but it was just so full of mud. I mean, that's just one box full of mud. You know, it was you can see it, and in these areas it was just completely jammed full of mud. Somehow, I know it was sitting on the grass, but I'm not sure how it got so full of mud. Same with all of this floor area and these areas, you know, lots of places for things to sit. But the roof chop was a success, and there is the roof and various bits I need to go through. There's that cool bit of glass, which maybe I'll incorporate, but I don't think so. Doors, and yeah, just got to go through it all, see if there's anything I need to keep trim wise, but probably not. And then we'll build a big kind of deck over here, and yeah, we'll go from there. This is how it always should have been made. So it's another day on the Lotus. After the roof cut, I've decided I need to get it on some new tyres because they are just terrible. They're just awful. And obviously I don't want to spend money on new tyres, so I'm going to the junkyard to have four tyres fitted, just old ones. At least they'll hold air, and I'll get the spare done as well, just so we have something a bit more balanced to work with. Keep cleaning the inside. I need to unbend, or as you're meant to say, straighten one of the suspension arms which got damaged during the ordeal with towing the car.
Shit.
So I've got to do that, and then I suppose it's time to keep cutting and see where we end up. So yeah. One cool thing is, or nice little details, all of the nuts have the letter L on it for Lotus. It's nice, that detail, and even in the wheel it says Lotus, which is quite cool. Wheels are off, and I've decided whilst the wheels are off, I'm going to wheel them down just a little bit, so they just look a little bit less shite. Obviously it doesn't matter about damaging the tyres that are on it because they're going to be changed, so I'm going to do that before and after. So there's not much of a difference, but it just makes them look less dire. You can kind of imagine how it looked like with proper tyres on it, because when it's all balanced, you know, evenly spaced off the ground, it looks really quite cool. The bits I need to deal with today really are just like cutting off literal loose ends, such as that that, and I might also take off this black bit and see what the front looks like without that. I'm not sure. It looks very much detachable. Yeah, it's a separate part, so that should be no problem. So I've been doing body work on the Subaru, and whilst I was letting some primer dry, I removed the bumper off the Lotus, and everything I do to this car, it just slowly starts to look more and more like a Ferrari. I just pulled it off, and yeah, to me they're starting to look more and more like a Ferrari. Throw these away, or burn them rather. I'm not sure they're original, but I feel like they are. These were actually under the bonnet, blocking off an area, and they're made of wood. So another exciting bit of British engineering there. So I've been sanding down the Subaru panels, getting them ready for paint. This one's ready to prime, well, etch prime, and that's just a little aside. The Subaru is in all sorts of a state right now, but it's a really good car, just the paint's dodgy, so we're sorting all of it. The extent of mud just hiding in little areas like this, that was just all in there. So this is where it got to after today's work. Bumper is off, the back is chopped and looks a lot more sharp. I also took the rear bumper off as well, which didn't make as much of a dramatic difference, but I'm not sure if I'll just cut the whole rear end off. That's for the future to think about. I think I need a new bonnet as well, because it's all sagging, but it's looking far better than it ever has. It looks, to me, it looks like a much better looking car than the original format, but perhaps that's just me. It's like a cross between an old Ferrari and a Di Tommaso. But, well, the front, I don't know. I'm probably being stupid. Definitely going to make that grille bigger, more aggressive, and yeah, we shall see. Hopefully tomorrow the wheels will be ready to pick up, so we can put it back on the ground, and then next thing will be, I probably will just lightly sand the body down just to get some of the texture out of it. As you can see, it's so aggressive, the finish, so it'd be nice just to have it looking a bit more uniform. The fact it looks so good even with such a poor texture and finish is quite surprising, really. And then the next thing to do will be probably fitting the doors and creating a proper door system again, and then dealing with the deck at the back, and yeah, we'll go from there. Another beautiful day. I picked up the tyres from the junkyard this morning, which are just here. They are pretty good. There was a ton of corrosion inside the wheels, so they took a bit longer because they all needed to be cleaned on the inside. But we've got a few different sizes. We've got 185 65s and then 185s 55s. So I'm going to put the 55s on the front, the 65s on the back, and then this one is somewhere in the middle, 185 60. So that will just become the spare one. But obviously you don't have a huge amount of choice at the junkyard. But they've got amazing treads on them, which is pretty cool. And for £5 a tyre, you can't go wrong. The car is temporary storage for some Reliant Robin parts, as the Reliant is being painted in a slightly unusual way. Ta-da! Look at this transition. 3, 2, 1. Huh? Looks like shit. So the Subaru is successfully in primer. The Lotus has its wheels on, which is good. Rusty's just chilling out there. Well, that wraps up today's video. The car has certainly come a very long way since it arrived just a couple of weeks ago. Still a huge amount of progress needs to be made, but join us in the next one where I'll be focusing on the doors and the rear deck lid and probably breaking a lot of other things at the same time.